before my...
Hey, it's Spence, the evil genius.
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday Funday. It is Spencer Foreman. It is Sunday, December 21st, Hanukkah Eve. The elves are preparing the sleighs and the dreidels are spinning. And yet I am here on a Sunday with kind of a longtime client, Dallas Vietty, who I had the good pleasure of meeting during one of my rough spots, but you were such a good fella about it. I met Dallas in the recuperation from one of my many surgeries. I can't remember if it was the first or the second one, but I remember specifically you being such a good guy because I was like, hey, can I lay on my bed with my laptop while I help you out? And Dallas is also a musician. So introduce yourself because you play and teach a very unusual type of instrument.
I do. Yeah. I'm an accordion player. Thanks, Spencer. Long-time listener, first-time caller. And happy winter solstice, which is today to you.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. Fantastic. Yep. Even more so. 3
Probably.
AI Atlas just passed through by there.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Without hitting the earth.
Correct. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling the vibe. Today, I asked you to join me because I like to make this extra content. It's very useful. We have so many new tools that are simplifying things. And I also thought that it would be a good idea because you have some new questions, but 3 things. One, of a lot of my students and clients, you are somebody who seems to catch on very quickly. And you went away for a while, came back. And when you came back, you saw some of the MinuteLaunch Fluent MCP stuff and immediately, instantly got it. And you really started using it. And so I think that you're in a great position to kind of compare the old and the new ways of doing things. Number 2, you've got a natural curiosity, I think, as a teacher of how it's helping you and what you can do. So some of the new things that I'm sharing might be extra useful. And number 3 is that I've been finding that talking to real people in their real world brings a lot of interesting perspective to the tools and why we're using them. And I think the overarching theme is that many people are really using it just for the core business marketing, the promotion, the sales. And you do, it's fair to say, consultative teaching, right? Via online.
Yeah. I'm thinking more and more about it as coaching, really. I mean, people are deliberately coming to me and sometimes they say, I want you to act like my coach and kind of help me out and, move me in these directions. I think you offer a lot of extra value too. That's what I find with you. In addition to the, fantastic SaaS or whatever it's called, your stack of stuff is like, hey, there's a lot of stuff to learn just by watching all the cool, you are definitely on some sort of bleeding edge of stuff going on right now. And I want to say that to anybody watching is like, you learn a lot just by trying to copy what Spencer's doing or follow him down these cool places.
I think what's really interesting too, to me, because we've got a community aspect of this, is that WordPress as a service, I've been involved in that community since the beginning, almost since 2006. And what we're really doing ultimately is we're removing the middle layer of tools so that people can use the core of WordPress, which they can own and control at an economical cost and get all kinds of really interesting outcomes that used to be much more complicated, time consuming, hard to fathom. Now, with the help of some agentic tools with AI and these systems, we're getting from zero to hero with very little cost, a complete ownership. And then we're really, more importantly, I think, weaving in the benefits of AI, which means that you can get a lot more clever stuff done than would have been possible even with professional help. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's go into some of your questions, because the purpose of today, we don't have an agenda. You had been set up by me with the basic MinuteLaunch AI, but I had also given you the Fluent MCP and the Canvas blocks because I wanted you to take advantage of some of the tools that we were building even for other people. There's really no difference between the Fluent MCP and the MinuteLaunch AI other than the Fluent MCP was a subset of the MinuteLaunch AI tools, but with a more modern walkie-talkie so that your desktop tool, agentic tool, can work with your WordPress site. You moved right from Cloud Desktop to Cursor because you, like an advanced student, jumped right off and you're like, let's do this. And you were also using some of the other things like the Canvas block. But let's go into your questions, because this is an unscripted Q&A like I might have with many of my other clients or students. And I wanted to kind of open up the kimono on this to other people to see how this might work.
Gross. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so the issue I would like to get your assistance on is using cursor via some prompting from me to get it to go into where the data is stored for the LearnDash modules that I had created and recreate that as static pages. And I haven't been able to get that working yet.
Okay, so let's set the stage because I can do some screen sharing here. And I think you'll be able to see it too, Dallas, but let's just try and see. I'm going to do, it's always a risky endeavor. Spence is going to do a screen share and spend a moment of time. But in this case, I'm actually just going to share the window. Oh, that's not too bad, actually. And I have not necessarily anything prepared. This is not your site. Is it safe for me to go to your site, or can I just do demonstrative?
Yeah, go right.
What's the site name now that we're on?
It's still on a test site URL, which I
okay.
could...
Let me grab the actual URL here. Hold on,
okay.
And I'll paste it in so we can work on your real site.
Cool.
And if necessary, we'll also update a couple of the plugins because you were working on a MinuteLaunch AI site, which is to say, let me actually copy this out, which is to say that you don't necessarily have this finished out as your final solution. You're just working on building stuff out, right? Because you had migrated over your leftover things. I'm in the wrong account here. You'd migrate over your leftover things, and then you started building back up, right, with what the new tools offer. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm still working to get it sort of a minimal functionality before I migrate over from where it is now.
So let's go over here just for a starting point. Let's look at the tools. And I also want to explain, we've got some updates coming today that are really interesting and significant. I mean, borderline blow you away, exciting. But let's first of all see what you've got as far as the actual setup. As we talked about, and I actually correct myself, I thought I had given you the Fluent MCP, but I did not. You are on the pure MinuteLaunch AI. So you are on the full-blown system, but you don't have the Fluent MCP. You don't need it, but it also has some new tools in it that I'm going to share with you that'll be in the MinuteLaunch itself. Let's go to plugins. I'm looking for where you have plugins, and you don't have the tool in here that I love. Did I ever tell you about the tool that I use for organizing, which is the admin menu editor?
I think yes,
Okay, so I'll show you what it is, but let's do that second. So first of all, let's check the version you've got of the plugin manager. The MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager is what provides all these tools, and that's had some updates, and I don't know whether you have the latest version. You're on 5.6.2, so you're actually pretty reasonably up to date, but I'm just going to manually update you a little bit real quick, because that way we can make sure you have all the latest stuff. And then when we discuss things, I won't be feeling like you're a little bit off. Normally this happens on its own, but I'm just going to force it from my desktop. So MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager, and I think we're at 565. So you're pretty close to new.
Is there something that I should be doing to keep this stuff updated?
That's what I want to show you. Okay. In the latest version of the MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager, it's self-correcting, self-updating.
Okay.
Up until 564, it required you to wait till I pushed an update, and like a traditional plugin, you had to check back and it would say, oh, there's an update. And I found that tiresome. So here's what I've got now. If you go to MinuteLaunch and you've got anything after 565, you see this button here, check for updates. That will check for updates of itself, as well as all of the plugins. So really easy. And one of the other things you'll notice, which you might not have remembered, but there used to be a need to log in. There used to be a need to get a token.
I do remember.
All that nonsense is gone.
Okay.
Because now what I've got is a system that self-manages who is authorized to have what. Next, Canvas Block. You're on 308, which is awesome. because I haven't pushed a new update, but I do have a cool update coming today for 3.15 or later that's got something that I'll share with you that is super duper exciting, but I'll show you outside of your thing. Okay, next, you have tools in here that you can use for your desktop agentic partner. I call mine Fernando, Bernardo, Francisco. Does your guy have a name?
No.
Okay.
No, and I've actually never used Claude for this site. I've only used Cursor.
Okay, that's actually okay because Cursor gives you more control, and you can still use Anthropic's LLM, right? Like Sonnet 4.5.
Yeah.
Today, I was experimenting, and I was building stuff, believe it or not, just to see if I could in Claude with my desktop. But I was building, I'll show you the conversation, building some crazy, remarkable stuff. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I still think the Cursor, this was my experiment this morning, I'll share with you in a second. I still think Cursor is the better tool. But for those who want to just have a relationship, like really simple, click, start, be done, Claude offers a certain degree of flexibility. And I do think the team at Anthropic has the best LLM. I prefer their Sonnet 4.5 over everything else. I was talking on Friday's show about the fact that we do have like a hippie dude, hey man, this is really great design in Gemini 3.0. And for images, you can even make some images now with Chat GPT 5.2 images. But for just overall relationship, you're going to have the best thing with Sonnet 4.5 regular, non-thinking. Okay. So now that you've got
to watch that episode, and I appreciated your analogous way of describing that, like really personifying.
Because one of the things that happens, and this is why I'm excited to talk about this, is that I am probably going to achieve this weekend, if I don't run out of coffee, I'm going to achieve something that essentially allows, with maybe 2 plugins, the Fluent CRM and this simple site, or Fluent CRM and the Canvas block, the ability with a dude to create everything you need to run a full-blown marketing site, sales site, everything else. Now, it won't have the cart. You can use the cart from Fluent, or you can use the WooCommerce cart. But in terms of what 99% of what people want to do, it's pages, it's forms, it's CRM, it's automation. Imagine if that whole thing could be done, like turn it on and it's just set up and going.
That would be amazing.
It's pretty interesting. And so I'm running these experiments here. I'm going to hint at them because I want to wait. I may or may not show the whole thing, but I'll just show you. Okay, so now back to your question. Your question was, how can you get Cursor to do what better?
I wanted to actually find the existing LearnDash courses. Essentially, I want to be able to, at the first step, just test and migrate into static pages that are fast and don't require the LearnDash plugin. And then eventually I'd like to do a lot of the other cool stuff that you've shown of bespoke, ephemeral, like caterings through forms you've shown, like for various clients who have somebody fill out a logical, a form that guides the user to just a brand new bespoke page, which would be my great accordion learning content.
Okay, well, let's talk about a couple things. First of all, for anybody who's listening and watching this, if they don't know what LearnDash is a learning management system. So it's traditional. It's probably one of the core, if not the core, learning management system from the WordPress ecosystem. But it's very long in the tooth. Justin Ferenman invented this probably 15 years ago. He reinvented it 5 or 8 years ago and then sold it off. Well, maybe it was 10 years ago and sold it off 5 years ago. He's been retired for a while. It's long in the tooth because it's got a gajillion unnecessary components to it and complexities beyond belief. And that is a comparison to something like Fluent Community that has some basic courses, or to the new methodology, which is what I've been explaining to people, is that we're able to make coursework now dynamically with the help of an agentic tool that quite literally it just goes in place and it rocks and roll. Right? I mean, literally, you can have all of your lessons in one page with HTML with dynamic display. I had a site that I use quite frequently, but a new one I'm going to pull up here. Let's see if I can remember it from this history. I'm going to pull up my full history because I'm going to search for UBR. I think this is where I got it. Yeah. So here's an example of a dynamic course that instead of having the extraordinary heaviness that is LearnDash, we can do everything in a single block of HTML that the tool itself can also have as the content to manage. I have to log in from here. So sorry about this. I have to go back here. I'm going to go Antonio. I don't have, that's odd. Hold on. Not sure what is happening here with this. So let me see if I go here. I think the client may have, I'm going to go to plan B. The client may have decided to put some other plugins in place on this one. Let me go to a different one and I'll give you an example of this. So this is an example of a course. I don't like the color scheme of this, but this is an example of a course that where we've taken, let's say, all the content from a LearnDash course, and I must be having one of those moments in time when, there we go. I clicked the wrong button. Where we've taken all of the courses. They had, I think, 27 courses, probably 12, 15 lessons per course. And we made them in these single displays. So watch this. Again, I'm not enamored with the layout or the color styles here, but here's an index page. And if we go to any particular course, it's actually just a single page that has video and content, completion buttons, sales on the right side. I'm going to scroll out a bit. If you can kind of see it, it's got a really very efficient layout. The colors on this are very particular to this client, but watch under the hood.
Yeah, I love that. I want that.
This is fantastic because one last thing, the whole thing is one block of HTML.
That's amazing. Yeah.
There's CSS in this case, but normally we don't need the CSS. And you can even edit manually using the tools. So if I want to change it to yummy, yummy food forests, I could just edit it in there. So it's a really great combination of stuff. And because it's done with HTML, it eliminates a lot of the overhead. So question for you would be, you want to make new stuff. How do I get my course content from LearnDash? You can do it a couple ways. First way is that with the tool that you've got, which is you have right now, MinuteLaunch Cursor, he's connected or she's connected to your site. You can say, go and find the course content and just pull it out of there. That's easy. Number two, you can do the export tool, which I believe it's under settings tools. I can't remember because LearnDash has 8,000 menus. But yeah, here. So if we go into, I want to say it's an advanced. We'll find it. Here it is, import, export. And you can export just courses and lessons. I mean, you can do all of it too if you want.
Why would do topics also? But yeah.
Okay, so why would that be useful? That'd be useful because if you just export the whole thing, you can then dump it into Cursor and be like, here's the raw material to start with. Okay, so another thing you can do though, this is actually pretty good, and you can do this on your Cursor or you can do this on any LLM. Most every LLM, including the browser ones, will have the ability, if it's a public page, to just scrape it out, right? Now, these are some lessons that courses that maybe don't have a lot of stuff, but let's look at the machine.
Blues is a good one too.
Which one?
12 bar blues. Second from the top. Second from the top. Feeling the blues, 12 bar blues.
Okay, and that's closed, but let's see what we got. All right, so this is awesome, but because it's closed, it might not be visible for it to be scraped unless I was using a tool. Now, here's an interesting tool. Cloud Desktop has a companion that's also browser MCP. It can be while you're logged in looking at what's in the browser. But I think your best bet for simplicity is for you to just export the stuff, right?
Yeah. Then it doesn't have to make any calls.
then it's just fast and it's easy, and you don't have to mess around with whatever else is going on here. Now, I'm also going to close a couple windows so that we can focus on your thing.
Can I tell you an issue that I was having this morning that I can't get past?
Yeah.
Is getting the tool to render the iframe. So the deal with all these courses is I use this an iframe for a really cool video player for music learning, which is called Sound Slice, and it keeps telling me that it's when cursor goes to create the page,
right,
it's stripping out the iframe.
Okay, that's actually a technical thing that I have a solution for you for today. The MinuteLaunch Canvas Block, when it's being used automatically, was doing a thing called sanitizing. It was sanitizing the tags to prevent naughtiness from happening. But the consequence of that was that stripping out the tags meant it was also stripping out the iframe tags. That has been fixed in this version. So for example, I have a demo site here that I'm working with. If I was making with the MinuteLaunch Canvas Block a new page or a new course or whatever, and I use ML Canvas Block, up until now, if I put iframe, source equals something, manually it works fine because it's coming from me. But when I was doing it programmatically, this was going to be stripping out the iframe tags like I'm showing there. And that seems like it was what your problem was. So we can actually do an update because I'm on 3.14. Even though technically this isn't like a full release, I'm going to give that to you because I think that'll solve your problem. Also, what I need to find out is why. Let's close the Claude thing. Hold on. Ungroup. And let's add in an update of the Canvas block. You're at 308. I'm going to just manually update you to 314 because that's going to be released in a couple minutes anyway. Again, doing my head in with this thing, I am going to show folks another trick here. Here's MinuteLaunch Launch Kit. Launch Kit has all the traditional plugins that I've curated for my clients who need the regular plugins. These are fully updated, managed, but now we've got it inside of MinuteLaunch that you just have this stuff. I'm going to add admin menu editor. I'll show you why. Because this is doing my head in that your stuff isn't organized by alphabetical.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, it's just impossible for me to work on this, right? So I've added admin menu editor. It's installed. Let's make sure that it's on in the plugins, and then you'll see the difference. Just activate it and then click settings. And there's only one thing that I do. It's really pretty straightforward. I just click on alphabetical. So admin menu editor, settings, and then there's a little up down AZ thing that you'll see in a second. See here where it says A to Z, Z to A. So I'm going to do A to Z. And then I do drag the dashboard to the top just because that one's kind of a unique. And everything else is now magically in alphabetical order. And Spence doesn't lose his, focus. You can drag up like you did the CRM and the dashboard to the top if you want to, just to keep it handy. But the basic idea is you have full control now, and it's still in alphabetical order. Now, you can also arrange it any way you want into groupings. Okay, having said that, what I'm going to do is just do a quick update with plugins. Add new. And again, normally with the MinuteLaunch AI, you saw on the dashboard, you just click refresh plugins, get the latest version of Canvas Block. If you're in Fluent MCP, the same thing, except you get it from your Fluent MCP dashboard. Here, because I wrote the stuff, I can cheat and I can just add it right directly from the development server. So MinuteLaunch Canvas Block. And then you'll see, you can test that. That is probably going to solve your problem. I think 99% likely that was what the issue was, because I was finding the same thing was true even in my own case. The new tool that I have allows Claude or Cursor to just instantly create forms and sales pages with custom capability that goes to the free or the paid, but the free Fluent CRM, and automatically generate thank you pages, automatically generate the emails. It does everything instantly with zero experience. But in order to do that, I needed it to have this capability. Do you, by the way, Dallas, do you have something you can test to see if it's now working, or is this like a pattern or something that
Sure.
if not, you can do it on your own. But I think now the Canvas block will take those tags.
Give me just 1 second to
Sure. While you're doing that, I'll share what's cooking over here. So
I've got an iframe. Yeah.
Okay. I right now have my Claude desktop attached to this Fluent Forms test. And it's got this new MinuteLaunch Canvas Block 3015 that has the capability of doing these really awesome, just hi Claude, I want to do a sales website. It instantly creates the site, instantly creates the forms, the sales pages to put anybody into as a contact, whatever I'm trying to get them into for a sales funnel, for an email campaign, and more importantly, to just stay in touch. But what's really amazing is that all of these different options, these various things, allow me to just create any kind of forms or sales pages I want, right? So like Tommy@leejones.com. Oops. Sorry, it'd be Tommy@leejones.com. Now, use case subscribe with tags. This kind of, I have to actually turn it on. This kind of a setup normally would have required Fluent Forms, would have required configuring Fluent Forms, Fluent CRM. With this setup, you literally just install the Fluent MCP. You literally just have the free Fluent CRM, which it can install for you. And it's instantly off to the races making stuff, which to me is really remarkable. Let me go backwards one level two here. I'm on 315. I'm going to put in the 314 because I think that actually was functional. And let me know if you have any other success with your
do it. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to show that or just give cursor a prompt.
Can you share do you know how to share your screen there? Can you do that?
Yeah. Just tell me when.
You share your screen and I'll see it and I'll add it in.
All right. We're going to do it.
Once you share it, I'll see it as the option to add it.
Yeah, we'll try that. Okay. I'm just going to share everything here.
Okay.
So is that showing? That's showing that, right? Yeah. Get the cursor.
Okay. Okay, so you've got your dude, which is cursor. And now do a test of what you were doing before now that you've got the 3015 in there.
Sure. Now you could, if you want, you could talk. If I hold the thing down, I think if you talk.
Right, but tell him what you've been telling him for what you're trying to do that was having trouble.
Okay, so I'm just going to, here it is. Create a simple HTML5 page using ML Canvas Block and embed this iframe.
And so for anybody who's watching, what he's got is he's got an agentic tool, which is like his assistant. Does your guy have a name, by the way, did you say?
No, that creeps me out. I'm not there yet.
Okay. Mine's called all these various names, like I said. When his agentic tool is connected with Fluent MCP or MinuteLaunch AI, it can work on the website. And that's what you're doing. You're telling the assistant, hey, man, go in the backyard and dig a hole and do some stuff. But the problem was the iframe wasn't coming through because the tags were getting stripped out. So let's see if it works this time. And if not, it might be, again, something we'll still work on, because as you called today, I told you I'm still developing this new update for the Canvas block that might.
Oh, you know, it's trying to do this. Let me do this same. Let me give the same prompt again, because it's trying to do something where it thought it could.
Yeah, and you can also, by the way, sometimes if he's been working for a while, tell him that you updated MinuteLaunch Canvas block to a new version that won't strip out the tags. So he might need to be restarted. I don't think so, but you'll find out. By the way, there's something else that, hold on. I want to give you a suggestion.
Sure.
In fairness, I thought you were using Fluent MCP. You're not. You're using MinuteLaunch Cursor MCP. MinuteLaunch Cursor MCP does not know about the MinuteLaunch Canvas blocks. I should have said that from the beginning. The tool of the Canvas block was written after he was created.
Oh,
so
okay.
he actually cannot do this anyway. So for right now,
Yeah.
just tell him to give you the block of HTML and you will paste it.
So just create an HTML block.
Just say, give me the layout I want ready to copy and paste instead.
Give me an HTML5 layout block that I can copy and paste and include this iframe.
Right.
So should I be using Claude instead of Cursor then?
No, this isn't a Claude Cursor thing. What this is that, so when I made the MinuteLaunch AI, I made two walkie-talkies. One is for Claude, one is for Cursor. I had originally a tool called Spence Style for them to build and edit page content and post content. I subsequently got more knowledgeable. Just hang in there for a second.
Oh, yeah.
And in the process of becoming more knowledgeable, I also had this business opportunity to create something that was like a one-time sale product that I called Fluent MCP. I remade Fluent MCP with what I learned from Claude and Cursor MCPs. And I also gave it knowledge of this new design tool called MinuteLaunch Canvas Block. So in fairness, it's kind of like your phones. Your guy only knows about a flip phone. And you're like, hey, I've got this new iPhone thing. I want you to do stuff. And he's like, he's trying to do his flip phone for iPhone stuff. And he's like, I don't know what's the tool, man? I don't know what you're talking about. The solution for you is to chill and hang tight for the moment, because I'm going to be updating the Claude Cursor MCPs with essentially the same thing as Fluent MCP, which will have full knowledge of all the latest tools. I'm just doing a little updating now. But for between today, right now, and then, just copy paste, because it's truthfully, like I talked about on Friday, almost the same speed. So copy this, now go to your site and go to the MinuteLaunch Canvas block, which, by the way, you're not in a MinuteLaunch Canvas block. You're right now in an HTML block. So go back to where you want this to exist. Like on the, edit the page. It's
loading.
And wherever you want to post this. There's the Canvas block. So highlight that and paste it into there. And then make sure you don't have duplicate CSS. So I don't know if you had anything, but get rid of that. And then click what you want to do is there's 3 lines at the top to show the layout tool on the left side. Yeah, click that. Now click on the Canvas block itself so you can select the options. And then I would say full width canvas mode is one of the toggles as well. Okay, now save it and you should be good to go. And this will work fine for sure. I apologize. I didn't realize that you were using the kind of original tool, and then I had to think about it. Now, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but that looks like it's full frame iframe.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. So the takeaway for today, and there's a couple, I mean, we threw a lot of jargon here, but let me explain this. What Dallas is working with in the WordPress space, which is awesome, is we have one block called the MinuteLaunch Canvas block. It is sort of a hybrid of the best and simplest parts of the WordPress Gutenberg ecosystem, with the ability to just use HTML that's generated by any kind of agentic tool, even on your desktop, on your browser, it doesn't matter. Instead of I'm going to drag a bunch of blocks around all day long, like you did when I met you, right? Like we spent 4 hours teaching you how to use Gutenberg and Cadence. Instead, you just tell your dude, hey man, make this super cool, sexy thing and give me HTML. Now, normally the dude can go full Monty all the way to publishing and he can just put it into the Canvas block, except in your case, you've got the original tool and that dude doesn't know about the block yet. So I'm simply saying, until I update you and a couple other folks, just tell him to give you the stuff, copy, paste it. It takes 2 seconds and you're there. For the new thing that I'm sharing, and I'll make a better video later after we're done with our call, is that for the new thing, you and everybody else is going to have this thing where literally you can just have him do 100% of everything for you. And he won't be having any text stripped out or anything else. So you'll get the best of all worlds. But these are the things that I learned from interacting with my real customers. And that's how I've been building these tools and also streamlining. Here's back to our LearnDash conversation. Let's say you want to make 1,000 courses with 1 million lessons. We know that you've got access to your videos that have like the metadata about what did you say and what did you do. We know that the dudes are really efficient at like reading 1,000 lines of text or code or whatever. Doesn't it make more sense that since we're going to put HTML5 for the people to see through the Chrome browser, that we just have a dude who could take 1,000 million videos, 1 trillion videos, and just take all the data and you say, bake me a cake that has this, and this in it, and write all the content and give me the links and just spit it out in the final thing that I want to show on the page. Doesn't that make more sense than Dallas is going to spend a weekend trying to organize and build pages and dropping and dragging and windows and this and that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm here, man.
But that's the metaphor that, like, if you really boil all of this down, getting rid of the human tools and instead, and you've taken to it like a fish to water, you know what your content is. You made the content. You know what you like about your human beings as your customer relationships. Better to tell your dude, hey, we're having a party in the backyard. I need you to basically make it into a garden party and just build the backyard the way you want it built instead of you spending a week trying to do that. You should be focused on being a good host to your guests and making more content. And that's the ultimate goal here, which I'm really excited to say. You're already like, what was that? 2 steps. You're just like, hey, do this and copy paste. Right. Imagine where you can go to a blank WordPress website with 1-2 plugins from me. And you go, hey, dude, here's like a history of all my stuff. Go grab it, make a beautiful sales page, make a landing page, make a product. Like that has been the conversational fantasy, but now it's turned into a reality. And it's also capable of doing things like, hey, make the content, do the forms, do the automations and so forth. And so the cool thing is the takeaway is like you're in it on the relationship side of things. So this is a little like gratuitous sales pitch, but I have 2 things that I sell in this space for the AI. One is you get the software and it's got the set of stuff and it's awesome, but you're kind of on your own. You know, it's a la carte. Buy it one time. The other is what you're in, which is in the concierge with a van, kind of has everything you need and answers all your questions. And I think the price is fair because for you, it's $197 a month. You get it fully hosted. You get unlimited email from me. You get all the software. I think it's fair to say, because I'm asking you a loaded question, but like answering your questions is paying for itself pretty much.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, which you do. Yeah, which you're extremely quick at via email, and other ways are possible too. But yeah, for sure. No, it's a wild amount of value.
What I like about your situation too, Dallas, is like you're a good example, and it always annoys me because I speak to this, but I don't understand end stage capitalism with corporations and so forth, because you as a human being have a relationship with me and vice versa. And I shared how you really came on board when I needed more people to help me by being subscribers, but then you went away and you came back. And what was that relationship like? How did that feel? Did that feel good, bad, otherwise? Explain it, because I have my opinions about it, but I'm obviously biased here.
I'm not sure what your question is.
In other words, one of the things that annoys, I'll just fill in the blanks. What annoys me is there's certain people even in the WordPress space, but definitely in corporate capitalism, where they treat their customers like prisoners or hostages or like ants at a picnic.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And you said to me, Spence, some things changed in my life. I have some personal things to take care of. I got to go away.
Yes.
And I was like, God bless you. Here's all your stuff. You're good to go. Come back anytime.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah, you were wildly amenable. Yeah. You helped me a lot. And yeah, and then when I came back, he said, oh, I'm excited. And wait, before, why don't we have a 15-minute phone call and I'll show you all this cool stuff so I can show you the new things that you don't know about yet. Yeah.
Because to me, that's the only thing that we really have going forward, right? I mean, you teach people how to play an instrument. There's about a gajillion YouTube videos, I'm sure, how to learn what you teach. And I teach this stuff. There's a similar number of people doing what I do, sort of. The only thing that I think we have in the future is our relationships with human beings. And so to me, that's the part that is confusing, that other corporations and other individuals don't get, because very soon that gap is closing, especially when you and her and she and me and everybody has like dudes. I have 100 dudes doing stuff for me now. The only thing that I don't ever give the dudes to do is to talk to the human beings, unless it's tongue in cheek. Like, I have a good relationship with some folks. I'm like, well, Fernando and I talked about it, and Fernando will get back to you. And I have Fernando write an email, wink, wink. It's got his picture, but that's because I'm sort of like saving the typing. So, okay. So the takeaway for today, because I don't want to keep you all day and everything else, is that I think you're in good shape for your initial problem. You've got the latest version of stuff. There will be updates on both of those plugins, though, because I'm actively pursuing it. And because I'm going to just get this perfected and make sure it works, I'll make a video today that shows also this next level stuff that you're going to have and everybody else will have. The takeaway for what you're going to publish, though, is I think for right now, export your data and then feed it to Cursor locally, because I have a plugin that's called Simple Site, which is a variation on the MinuteLaunch Canvas Block, but lets you just literally build like a single plugin, handles the whole site. And amazing. With that, you could quite literally do like, here's a course page, and the course page leads to whatever, but you can simplify it to the point where you don't even need the header, the footer, anything. It's like the whole kit and caboodle plus marketing with just a conversation and a single page. And the reason I built that was based on trying to remove all the complexity of WordPress. Like, what? Like, I got to do this and set up that and click the permalinks, and there's so many levers to pull. I thought to myself, what if we could just turn this on, and in like 3 minutes, anybody could have an outcome that does the marketing that they need. And then the relationship part is optional, but for those people, they can buy it once, DIY, or they can have it hosted with support from me. And either way, you get a win because you're going to get something. So I'll keep you on the front edge of that, of course.
Cool. Yeah, that's super exciting. And it is definitely your initial value was taking WordPress, which is frankly like a pain in the ass for me, because like I don't know any of this stuff. And then with all the things that you've made, the big value is I don't have to worry about all of the technical things. You take care of all that.
I mean, when we add up the costs, because you had done it independently, the traditional bundle of software, which is shrinking from 125, I'm down to like 60. It'll be down to like 4 plugins, if that, 6.
That's amazing.
Was like the whole bundle is like $6,000 a year. I mean, of stuff. Most people used about 1,200. You know, if you think LearnDash is $199 and like Cadence Pro is this $199, WP Fusion's $297, you know, Fluent is this. It adds up to be about $1,200, $1,600 a year. And I'm saying, how about for less money, you get the fully hosted, optimized CDN site with all of the things that go along with that, babysitting from me as well. You get unlimited email from me, and you get all of the other MinuteLaunch stuff. It ends up being for that $2,400 if you pay monthly, or what, $1,970 if you pay annually, less than the cost of the parts, but with all of the support, almost like being at the concierge desk of a hotel. And as time goes on too, I think that's going to get better, because the things I'm going to talk about from this video today, some of the plugins like Fluent CRM, the standard, have a pro version. They need other things in the past to make it do more, including WP Fusion and this, that. But with this new setup, if you've got a dude and you got a site and you have this 2 plugins that I offer, it kind of like, I'm able to bridge the gap of all the crazy middle level tools. So now you're able to do all the pro stuff with like 2 plugins, 3 plugins, and you go, holy shit, like it's like I just packed a backpack instead of a steamer trunk. And I think that's going to be very revolutionary too, because like, let's say you get down to making your lessons and you come up with the format you like the style, we've been building plugins in public and things in public where the front end page is like my clients, Melissa and David. She had 298 videos on Vimeo, and she has 1 million followers on social media for her osteoarthritis training as a chiropractor. we're able to take all that content and use it for somebody to make dynamic daily, I need this or need that. Like, oh, my knees are hurting and I want something to do to make me feel better. And the AI tools can dynamically give that person from her context what they need at the moment. And that I think is fascinating because like I play music as well. I don't play that instrument, but I play guitar and bass and piano. And it's like some days I'm in a certain mood. I'm like, well, give me just like 5 Beatles songs and throw in a Pink Floyd, and just, it'd be really cool to have something that dynamically gave me your content the way I wanted it, instead of you having to make these static courses with lessons in a certain order. And I think this is going to be a universal tool that if you free yourself from LearnDash, now it's like the dude will be given a tool that says, take any of Dallas's stuff and just make a cool outcome, which also, by the way, becomes part of the sales value. If you take your subscribers and you have a library of endless stuff, people that get bored or they kind of exhaust themselves. But if they can just automatically, dynamically create their own custom things from your context, it adds a little continuity value, I think, that they'd stick around for.
Completely agree. Yeah, if I can interact with that, I think that is, the promised path of AI, which is bespoke experiences in all forms of media. And it needs to be in education and learning too, right? And then I think also I would say, as somebody who thinks a lot and cares a lot about education, I think that's what they're paying us for too, is there's all the information is out there, but they're paying us to go, don't worry about this. I see you where you are right now. I understand you, what you need, what your skill sets are. Don't worry about this is the next thing you need to do. And then after that, do that. And that's the value, is to be understood and to, clear the playing field for them and give them a really clear to understand path that meets them where they are, I think.
I think you bring up an interesting point too, because as part of the human value of what you're paying for, because you make a lot of content, but once you start making a lot of content, I'm going to suggest to you and everyone else, because I made this mistake years ago. It might not have mattered though, because the stuff did ultimately go out of being evergreen, but there's things called evergreen content. Playing a chord, a bar chord, or whatever you do on the accordion, but like on a guitar, bar chord, there's 5 places you can play a G. Okay. That's universal forever. If I make content about that from 2025 on, I'm going to make that content with no logo, no branding, no high expense, it's just, here's how to make a bar chord. Why? Because that content then can be mixed and matched into a trillion different potential options, and it's fully indexed, not even just the words. I'm talking down to the actual sounds, the video. And as you start to build up a library of that stuff, I think what happens is you can have a relationship with humans where they say, look, I love your style. I love the way you sound, the way you talk, you're goofy, funny, obnoxious, whatever. I want to get this information from you, but I'd love to be able to customize it. And that's what you and I are kind of meeting on, is that having evergreen content, even though you can make it an AI of you as a human, but you're actually in a relationship saying, look, I can't be with you all the time, or you don't want to pay for that, but you would pay for me dynamically to be there as much as you want if you could create me the way you need it. And I do think that that's part of the value proposition here. But it requires a kind of an adoption by the business owner of what they're making and how they're making it. But right. The neat thing with you is, because you're kind of starting over again, I don't think that a lot of the stuff I made in the old days would be applicable, so I don't regret it. But I do have a lot of content creators as clients who have, they heavily branded or watermarked stuff. And I just try to tell them, like, lay off of that now, because that becomes an asset that you can repurpose.
Totally. Well, even the sound slice player, is, the more I think about it, is a burden. I'm like, how could I free this amazing, it's really helpful because it brings the notes up on the screen, and people, I know before and after that, they learn a lot more, but it's so burdensome. Just like even this issue, which is being solved with the iframe, but it's like, if this all could just be YouTube videos, or anything, it would be so much easier to do whatever I want with it.
I mean, the other part too, just on a monetization, and again, I don't want to reveal all my secrets. I've shown some of them, but like, I'm working right now, if you extended the same concept of what you just saw, social networking is not the same as it was back in the day. So people really get a value proposition from maybe wanting to reach out and chat with somebody directly or ask for help. But like posting in public is not what it's cracked up to be anymore. However, when it comes to paying for content, interacting with other people who might be similarly situated, or providing traditional lessons in course format, when it really boils down, like really take those elements to their base parts, and it's just a single page that has stuff on it that I wanted to see. And then, by the way, is there anybody else I can ask about it?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And wouldn't it be cool if Spence could provide a way that like your dude could just make those things happen endlessly? Also, it would be cool if I gave some preferences that said, yeah, you know, Dallas has 9,000 different types of styles, but I really like, you know, 12-bar blues jazz or something like that. Then I could just focus on the things that I want and I get a ton of value out of it. But that also reduces the burden for you as the site owner of how much time am I going to spend on this? And I think for many people, that's a tough decision. If it's not their livelihood, their full-time job, it's like a hobby or a semi-hustle. I've been showing that, like, for example, with the daily videos. And that's why I also like asked you to do the StreamYard. This StreamYard becomes like the better than any paid advertisement because we're talking about the topic, sharing some stuff, getting real. But what happens is StreamYard posts it automatically to YouTube. It slices, it dices. I get the transcript, which helps fill up my context of things that are topics. But on YouTube, when I slice and dice it, I've famously shown a video that might get, I don't know, 80 to 100, 200 views on a regular view of the regular video, maybe 2,000, 2,500 shorts views. Mm-hmm. And there's even some fun. This is a nice lady, Doretta, who showed up from Italy here just randomly because she must have been given it via the feed on the YouTube Live. God knows how. So I think that there's also the marketing aspect of if you're building a business, it's a subscriber membership business, and you've got a CRM and you've got this tool, this is the kind of stuff that you can do on a regular basis to make new content without spending the, oh my God, the whole weekend I got to build a course and I got to edit the videos. You just get your accordion, get your guitar, go, hey, today I'm going to play Let It Be and da, 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 and do it live. And suddenly the tools get you new audience members because it's got a call to action to subscribe to your training, and they get to see you and interact with you and so forth. So
that's it, man. Yeah, the promise is that the technology frees you from the burden. It gives you that opportunity cost time back. And then it also, like, you know, working with you and the kind of meeting you in the AI thing is just like, holy cow, like I'm so much more, I have so many more cool ideas for how I can use the information and create better experiences for them and think about friction points and all this other kind of things. So it's very invigorating too, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time today. I thought it was interesting because you definitely asked good questions and definitely had a problem that was a common one. So I was glad to be able to share. So for the takeaway from today, it's that you've got an update with the Canvas block and the MinuteLaunch cursor or the MinuteLaunch Claude MCPs. They are very capable tools, but they just don't know about the Canvas block yet because they were built before it. Never fear. Uncle Spence is here. I am releasing an updated kind of a combination. The Fluent MCP is going to become the MinuteLaunch MCP, and it will basically replace those two older tools, and it will, along with the Canvas block and Simple Site, have some magic tricks that you'll see hopefully today or tomorrow. That's going to be like 2, maybe 3 plugins along with Fluent CRM, Fluent Cart, maybe WooCommerce. We'll do about 95% of what you need to do, combined with what we just discussed, which was take your content and turn it into just HTML, have the dude organize it into something that has like multiple lessons in one page with a really kind of cool layout in your color scheme, instead of worrying about, God bless them, but you know, LearnDash, Justin Fairman's 97,000 menu choices,
right?
You know, old-fashioned file cabinet method. And I think it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of folks are going to start cranking out some cool stuff.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much, Spencer.
Hang with me. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. We're going to end the stream. Thanks, everybody.